Welcome to Data Talk, presented by IDEA Data and Research. DATA stands for Data Analysis Techniques Applied. Data Talk is a series of webinars for Arkansas's local education agencies on the use of data, particularly for special education staff. The series will cover the basic concepts of data, including understanding data sources, context of data, and analytical techniques. In this episode of Data Talk, we will be discussing different methodologies for setting future targets for the Special Education State Performance Plan using Excel. The methodologies to be presented are standard deviation, moving average, average yearly difference, and forecasting. I have prepared a data set in Excel, and we will start with standard deviation. In the first column is the state fiscal year, and the second column is the historical data my future data is to be based on. I also selected a baseline year of 2019, which is the 2018-19 school year. Because 2020 is an anomaly due to the pandemic, I am excluding it from the calculation, but it will have a target. To calculate the standard deviation, select an empty cell for your results to populate. I have selected C2. On the upper right of the Excel menu, select the AutoSum drop-down and click on More Functions. Then select All from the Select a Category option box. All the functions are in alphabetical order, and we are looking for the standard deviation population function, which is listed as stdev.p. We could also type it into the top and search for it. And click OK. A new screen opens for you to enter the date range of data. Highlight the data, which is going to be B2 through B15, for you to enter the range. Click OK. The results now appear in cell C2, which is 2.99. To apply the standard deviation, there are multiple ways that can be done. However, I have chosen to divide the standard deviation by the number of years in which I need targets. Since I'm also setting a target for 2020, I need to divide by 7. So in cell C3, I enter the formula equal, click on C2, divided by 7. That gives me 0.427 or 0.43 when rounding. My next step is to copy the rate in B15 to C15. You can also just type it in. It's 87.83. Now I'm going to add C15 and C3 together in cell C16. So in cell C16, type equals C15 plus click on cell C3, giving us a measurement of 88.25. That is our target for 2020. If you need to keep adding a cell over and over, you use this Excel trick. In the formula, add a $ in front and behind the letter of the cell which you want to stay constant. So in this formula, we want C3 to stay constant. So we are going to take C3, put a $ in front and a $ after the C. With doing that, we can actually pull the formula down from the corner. And you can see that our target now for 2026 is 90.82. Now let's apply this to the moving average. Using the same data set, I'm going to show you how to calculate a moving average. A moving average begins with a set of base years. For our purposes, I am selecting 2006 through 2009 as my base years. So I'm placing the cursor in cell C5. To establish my initial 4-year average, go to the AutoSum drop-down menu again and click on Average. And then we're going to highlight B2 through B5 and hit Enter. Now I'm going to pull this down all the way to 2019. I'm not using 2020 because of its anomalous nature. Grab the right corner of C5 and drag the formula down. As it pulls down, Excel keeps only 4 years in the data for the calculation, dropping the oldest year and adding the next year. Note that C6 has the formula of B3 to B6, but 2020 or 2019, I'm sorry, has the formula of B12 to B16. So what do we do for the remaining of the years? To apply this, I'm going to establish the targets for my future years. We're going to use the 4-year averages we have already generated. So in C16, I am going to click on Average from my auto menu again, but I only want 2016 through 2019 and hit Enter. That gives me a target in 2020 of 86.26. Now I can pull this down and it will drop a year and add a year each time, leaving us with our moving average of 86.57 for the 25-26 school year. Our next methodology is an average yearly difference. In this methodology, we are looking at the percentage point difference in the historical data and then averaging it. Some differences may be negative values. Placing my cursor in C3, we're saying placing my cursor in C3, I am going to subtract C3 minus C. Let's do that again. Placing my cursor in the cell C3, I will begin by subtracting 2007 data from in B3 minus, see, this is what happens when you don't read. Okay. Placing my cursor in cell C3, I will begin by subtracting 2007 data in B3 minus the 2006 data in B2. Hit Enter. It has a negative value because the 2007 data is lower than the 2006 data. Now pull the formula down to 2019. Once again, I'm not using 2020 data in the calculation. Select an empty cell in column D. I have selected D2. Go back to your AutoSum drop-down menu and click Average and highlight the differences that are listed in C3 through C15. And the average is 0.67. To apply the average yearly difference to the future, since this is an average yearly difference, we will apply the 0.67 to the baseline year to generate the targets for 2020. Then add 2020 target to the 2021 and keep going in the formula. So in cell C16, add together C15 plus 0.67 up in D2. And remember to come up here, because we want to hold D2 steady, to put your dollar signs in your formula so you don't have to keep typing. And now we're going to pull this down. Yep, I screwed that up. Then add in D17, add D16, plus D2. I need to stop that because I totally screwed that up. Where's my record?